This is SEMA Central. I'm Kevin Ostie at the 2017 SEMA show in Las Vegas. And the SEMA experience is all about cool cars, having a good time. And here's a gentleman who's associated with both, Mr. Jay Leno.
Good to see you. We're here for the Just for Men Club, the hair club for men, as you can see.
That's right.
I'm a charter member, and we're trying to get him in on a technicality.
I'm emerging.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. But good. But thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate it.
This is the greatest show in the world. This is, you know, all the Vegas stuff is nice, but this is what I like. Yeah, this is my kind of show.
The thing that I always enjoy about your stuff, especially on Leno's Garage, is, yeah, the jokes are great, love to be entertained, but when you start digging deep and getting into the knowledge that you have about these cars and the stories about the industry and what the world was doing at the time when they were around.
Yeah, that's a great part. And it's also, you know, all the great cars have a great story. That's the fun part, whether it's a guy who spent $1 million to build something that wins the Riddler, or whether it's a kid who bought a Model A and, you know, and just spent 5 years putting it together while he was in high school and college. That's the fun part. And both those stories are fascinating. You know, people who do it on a budget, and then you got the more money than brains club like me who do it the other way around. You know,
it's fun.
I mean, I bought a Corvair for $600. I put 50 grand in it. It's worth 12.5.
Congratulations,
That's better than the stock market.
Yeah. Buy them high, sell them low. I do the same thing. Now, I remember listening, you did an interview somewhere, and you were telling the story about how the U.S. landed on the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And it was an interesting thing, just some of your historical knowledge about this stuff, and I thought...
Oh, how they came up with speed limits.
Yeah.
No, the way they come up with speed limits, a lot of people don't know that. When the highway system came out originally, they didn't know how fast people should go. So what they do is they would pick up average Americans in like a Chrysler or a Ford car, and they would put a towel over the speedometer and then telling me when it feels uncomfortable. At about 65, people go, oh, this feels about right. So it's really based on, I mean, I was just at Milford Proving Ground in Detroit with a brand new Corvette, completely stock tires. We went 50 miles at 205 miles an hour all the way around that oval, you know, and it was rock steady, you know? And that felt like a normal speed limit in that car.
Right. So technology's changed.
And that won't work when you get stopped by the cops. I don't want to stress that, but that's how they came up with them,
Well, sure, and that's a great example when people say, hey, is that little guy, is he really a car guy? And it's like, oh, no. Oh, yeah, he's a car guy.
Well, yeah, you know, when you have a show like I do, you're either a genius or you're an idiot. You know, there's no middle ground. People who think you know everything or you don't know anything. I mean, luckily I have a job which enables me to kind of spend money on my passion and have fun with it, you know, and that's really, that's a cool part of it. I like to think I'm a regular guy who just can afford to do some of this cool stuff.
And we love that you bring the rest of the regular guys along and you treat them like regular guys hanging out in the garage. It's a great
Well,
show.
yeah, I always, you know, when you work with your hands, you really appreciate. You know, you work in show business, it's so stupid. I mean, show business is so stupid. You get paid ridiculous amounts of money, and then people start to think that's what you're worth, and that's really not what you're worth. You know, when you go and you work in a garage and you put a transmission in, and you realize some guy made $80 for doing that, and his hands are all bleeding and ow. So you really appreciate the mechanical aspects of it, you know?
Yeah. So in your collection, I'm imagining over the years you've been able to acquire certain cars that you like. Do you still have a laundry list in your head of things you'd like to bring in someday? Do you seek these things out, or do they find you?
Well, I always say, be happy with what you have. Just make sure you have enough. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? They're just some cars that catch your imagination. When I was a kid, I used to love the mid-'60s Corvair Monza because it was the most European American car ever built. It had a flat 6-cylinder engine like a Porsche, had a 4-speed transmission. It was rear-wheel drive. I mean, to this day, it's still the most revolutionary car ever produced in America. And when I drive mine around, like millennials, you know, people under 30 go, is that a Carmen Gear? What kind of car? I go, it's a Chevy. And they go, what? Where's the radiator? There's no radiator in front. Well, it doesn't have a radiator. It's air-cooled like a... And they kind of don't believe you at first. And you can pick those up for... God, I still see them for $1,100, $1,500, and they're fun to restore, and you have a genuine classic. And I think they'll go up in price someday. I mean, they're starting to climb a little bit. So,
but it's really not what it's all about.
Yeah, it's not all about, you know, big supercharged Mustangs and Camaros. There's all kinds of great, interesting cars out there. You know?
So you hit on a really timely topic, especially here at SEMA this year. and that is entertaining and inspiring some of the next generations. And you encounter these people, that story right there, a millennial who was born way after that car.
Well,
how do you think everybody's doing on getting the next generation?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I find young people either know nothing about cars, or you have this group that are geniuses that just know how to do everything. And it's like every other business now. It's specific. You know, there are a couple of colleges like McPherson College, and we have a scholarship program there for kids that want to learn to be mechanics, you know. Now when a kid, and you get a 4-year degree. You know, we're the only country where to be a mechanic, you just say you're a mechanic. You go to Germany, and you have a degree, and you put it on the wall of your shop, and people see, oh, you went to the German Institute or whatever it was. We're the only ones that just says you're a mechanic. So now when you tell your parents you want to work on cars, instead of them crying in the other room, you actually have a degree. You have a, you know, McPherson gives a 4-year degree in automobile restoration, and these kids make anywhere from $75 to $100 an hour. Working, yeah, for restorers, yeah, so it's good. And now cars are being seen as artwork and collectible, and I mean, I can remember XKEs for $800.
Wow.
Now they're $200,000. Yeah. Even a XKE that's been wrecked is going to be $25,000 something. So it's good to see the value going up.
That McPherson degree in restoration also encompasses business management skills too.
Right, right. So you learn the whole deal.
Own a shop and not just be a wrench too.
Like to me, I come in with a box of jets, and kids go, "What are those?" If a carburetor, how does that work? And they come in with the laptop. Let me do that. Whoa, whoa, what are you doing? You know, so you know, one helps the other. Yeah.
Well, SEMA is doing everything they can to help inspire the youth as well. This year, the You Leading Our Future initiative is big, and I think what you do with your show speaks to people, again, on such a regular level. It's not a novelty, it's not a gimmick, and I think it's got massive...
Well, you know, it's really turned around, because now, if you're a really good transmission guy, you can make $250,000 a year if you know what you're doing. You know, it's not like the old days. Now there are so few people who have these skills anymore that they're in demand, you know, and it's a blue-collar trade where you make big white-collar money. You know?
But these guys are becoming more, and gals are more and more technical. It's more scientific and engineering.
Right.
It's cool. So what's next for Jay Leno's Garage, man?
Well, the TV show's going. We come back on in January for about another 6 weeks, and it's fun. People seem to like the show. We have a good time doing it. You know, the Jay Leno's Garage on YouTube is more technical, and the other one is more personality-driven. You know, the car my father drove, stuff like that. And I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. We had Colin Powell and Joe Biden racing each other in Corvettes, which was great fun. You know, we went out to the Secret Service Proving Ground, and Biden has had a Corvette since 1967. He still had it. His dad gave it to him as a wedding gift.
It's incredible.
A 327 4-speed. And Colin Powell just bought a new C7. So we brought the two of them out there, and you know, Biden drops the clutch, almost slides sideways into Powell, and the Secret Service, shut him down, get in front of Biden, get in front of him. They go out and they're trying to stop Biden. But it was really fun. It was really fun watching a couple of car guys screw around like that.
Yeah, and we often don't think about our political leaders as being car guys.
No, we never have actually. Yeah. I think Clinton had a Mustang, but it's more the back seat there. That was more the interesting. Yeah. And believe me, if you can do it in a Mustang, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's back before the Big Mac.
I think that shows an agility.
Yes, right.
Yeah, you know, so that's pretty good.
Without a doubt. Well, listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, thank you. We got a line of car care products out now, which is doing pretty good.
Really excellent.
I think we're live on Amazon right now. So this is something we developed at the garage. You know, there are two ways to do it. The smart way is a big company gives you a check, and then you just endorse their product, or you spend 10 years trying to come up with your own stuff. And that's what we've done, and it's really done well, and I'm real excited about it. So we'll see. So check it out. It's Jay Leno's Garage Advanced Car Care Products, and it's on Amazon.
What I think is neat about that is if you guys have developed it, you're probably using it on your own stuff.
Well, that's how we did develop it. I'm not a chemist, but I work with some guys that are. Like, to me, every metal polish I would get would always take a bit of chrome with it, you know, if you're polishing silver or something, it would always come off on the right. So I had them developed, and we kept testing it. It's strictly chemical based. There's no pumice, there's no grit in it. And it really shines up, and we've sent it out to people, give us your feedback, and you know, when you do a TV show, you get all kinds of snarky comments, you know. But Actually, it's been very good, so I'm real excited about it. It's a real slow rollout, and it's been doing pretty good. So
How wide is the line?
well, we encompass a lot of things: glass, car care, car wash, a whole bunch of stuff. My favorite is the metal polish. I got a lot of antique motorcycles and cars. There's not much metal on cars anymore to polish, you know.
Right.
But for the older vehicles, that's why I wanted something that didn't take the chrome off. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and there's instant gratification when you're polishing.
Well, that's what I mean.
tarnished
Yeah,
metal. It's fun.
I'm an instant gratification guy. So, polish. Oh, look at that. It looks shiny. Yeah.
Where can somebody learn more about the product line?
Well, you can go to Leno's Garage, and you can learn about it there, or go to Amazon. They have it on there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey,
Thanks
man,
a lot.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for
you
being
guys.
such an advocate for the sport, the hobby, the industry, keeping it fun, keeping it relatable, and
Yeah,
bringing awesome
I
cars
think that's
to the
the thing,
screen.
you know, and I see more and more women getting into it, which is really good now. More and more women mechanics, women drivers, and that's one thing I like about our show on CNBC. We've got a really good women demo in it because we're doing real women race car drivers, real women mechanics. It's not, you know, powder puff derby stuff, you know. It's not that kind of nonsense.
They love cars too.
Yeah, and it's a whole untapped market, so we're really excited about that.
Yeah, my wife is fury behind the wheel, so
Yeah.
I get it. All right, having a great time with Jay Leno here at the SEMA show in 2017. Thanks for joining us at SEMA Central. Right on, Jay.
Well, thank you.